Meet Jelle Veyt, a 39-year-old Belgian adventurer and physiotherapist on a mission to climb the world's highest 7 summits without using any engines. Since 2013, he's traveled over 80,000 kilometers by bike, rowboat, sailboat, skis, and on foot. So far, he's summited 5 out of the 7 peaks, including Everest, Elbrus, and Denali. Jelle's journey began with a simple idea: cycling to a new job in Nepal. With just 3,000 euros and no sponsors, he left Belgium on a 100-kilogram bike transporting everything he owned. He added a detour along the way to Nepal to climb Mount Elbrus. At 17, he experienced homelessness, but found strength and perspective through the people around him. In this interview, we sit down with Jelle to talk about some of his adventures, the role of gratitude in his life, and what really keeps him going.
Yeah, I'm Jelle Veyt. I'm a professional adventurer. I'm climbing the 7 summits. It's the highest peak on every continent. So there's 7 continents, 7 summits. And the way I'm getting there is trying to go there without using an engine. So that means I'm cycling, rowing, skiing, sailing to every continent. And then I'm climbing the highest peak of that continent. So far, I've been doing it for 12 years now. And I've covered more than 80,000 kilometers by bike, sailboat, rowboat, in all that way. And I've done 5 out of 7 summits. I'm on my way to the 6th at the moment. So yeah, it's been a very challenging expedition, a journey actually. And yeah, it's more of a life's goal that I'll be hoping to complete in a couple of years. When I was a kid, I come from a very sporty family, so I've been always in a cycling family. So that actually already created my passion for cycling. And then when I grew up, I've always been doing more adventurous types of sports, like mountain biking, BMX, some other outdoor sports. And then when I went to university, I didn't have a lot of time. I had a lot of time, but didn't have a lot of money. So the best way to go is on a bike, and that's how I discovered the freedom of cycling and camping on the road. And I discovered the mountains, so I just cycled to some mountains, climbed them in the Pyrenees, in the Alps, and then went back. And that's how everything started. Like, I enjoyed the feeling of the freedom of the bicycle, and I could extend it by parking the bike, taking my backpack, and climbing some mountains. And so that's how everything just started, and just started to get bigger and bigger in my head. It's difficult for me to choose between cycling and climbing. It's always a mix, because when I've been cycling a lot to a mountain, it takes sometimes months. Then I kind of fed up with cycling and I just want to climb. I want to do more climbing. And it's the other way around sometimes. But the one thing I can say that's my least favorite, that's rowing, I would say, or being on an ocean in general, because I get seasick. So I've spent more than a year of my life on an ocean, rowing for 6 months, sailing, kayaking, and I always get seasick. So that's my least favorite part. Everything else I just love to do, like hiking, mountaineering, cycling. That's all good. Yeah, I got this job opportunity, and actually, to make it simple, I was cycling to work here in Belgium, so I thought, yeah, I might as well cycle to work in Nepal. So I took everything I owned on my bike, everything I had in my life at that moment was on my bike. So it was a 100 kg bike with all my climbing gear, mountaineering gear for Everest. But on the road, I made a detour to go and climb Elbrus. And it took me about 5 months to get to Nepal, including the climb of Elbrus in Russia. The thing is that, my daily routine was just cycling from the morning till the evening. I just cycling all day. I didn't make a lot of detours for other stuff, but I cycled through Germany, Poland, Ukraine, into Russia, and then to Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. And sometimes it was really amazing, really beautiful, meeting a lot of people, but other times there was one of the more challenging parts to me was in Kazakhstan. It's just a month and a half of dry steppe, which is kind of a desert. There's nothing to do, and then your daily routine is getting up, watching the sunrise, and then cycling all day long for 10 hours on a straight road. I think the longest road was straight for 1,000 kilometers, and just being bored, like 10 hours on the bike, pitching your tent, seeing the sun go down, and repeat that the next day. So the more challenging part is there, the mental thing that every day you need to push yourself to get going again. Definitely, and I think that's true. That's indeed a kind of a misconception, because when I left off in Belgium, I had 3,000 euros in my bank account, and that's all. I didn't have any savings because I lived on the streets before. So it's not that I come from a rich family or somebody funding me. No, it's just that I had. And while doing it, you don't need a lot of money. It depends on the region you go. But when I left Belgium, most of the times I could sleep for free in my tent. Finding food at grocery shops, or a lot of people will just offer you food when you're on the road, depending on the region. But it's been such a beautiful journey there, and it didn't cost me a lot of money. I think I still had 500 euros left on my bank account when I reached Nepal. But that's 12 years ago. Probably today it's going to be more expensive. But still, I don't think you need a lot of money to be cycling or walking. The thing is, when I continued my journey, things got a bit more expensive, like rowing and sailing and such. The equipment for that is more expensive, and that's where I got lucky that after climbing Everest, which I had an opportunity to climb it cheap, kind of working a bit. I found sponsorships, so with that I could continue the journey to do that. Yeah, but the thing is, you get creative in a lot of ways. And that's the thing. When you start, you feel, especially when you're on the road, you meet so many people on the road, and you get so many connections all around the world. And one of the most important things that I learned there is asking for help. And if people give you help, people want to give you help. A lot of people in the world, they want to give you help. And that includes, and that doesn't mean people will give you money, but people will help you if you need a place to stay, or they see that you're hungry or anything else. And so it doesn't mean you have to profit from those people, but if they offer you stuff, you have to accept it. You have to accept their help, I think. And that actually, after a while, you get the hang of it. You get creative, how you get your money together, how you sort your budget, and then things get pretty cheap actually after a while. Yeah. I think that's one of the most important things that I get is it's the connections on the road, the people I meet, the impressions I get, the things I see. I mean, it can be nature as well, but I have a ton of examples about it, but one of them is like in Kazakhstan. I was really sick and tired of everything. I wanted to quit, but there's no phone reception, so there's nobody to call. And suddenly there's a car stopping. There's hardly any car passing by. And then a car stops, and those people, they want to take a picture with me because they think like, yeah, this crazy blonde guy, what is he doing here? And they take a picture, and then they give me a bag full of cookies, homemade cookies, something that probably nobody wants to eat right here, because it doesn't look that good, to be honest. But at least to me, I felt so good about it. That interaction and the gesture they gave made me feel so good that I knew this is what I'm doing it for. And that actually helps me motivate to go on. And so that's what I'm doing it for, like to meet those people in Africa. A lot of people ask me as well, why are you here? Why don't you take a car or a hotel or anything else? And I'm like, yeah, it's to meet you. And that is actually what helps me give the energy to meet. When I meet those people, I hear those stories, I get to know the world in a very different way. And that helps me to continue in that. And that's the human power in the whole journey, I think. Yeah, definitely. I think that's an important mindset. It's not about the things you want to have or anything else. No, it's more about the things you have, and in like being grateful or being aware, like not take things for granted. And I think that's important in life. If you take things for granted, I think you kind of get lost. And a lot of people would compare themselves or their situation to others, and that's like craving for something you don't have. But the thing what I do is like, yeah, no, I just want to look at myself. And when I left Belgium with a 3,000 euro on my bank account, that's all I had, and people thought I was crazy. To me, it was like, yeah, but I still have this, and I still have, and I'm lucky, I'm born in Belgium. I have a degree at university, so I knew I am in a very easy and luxurious situation, because when things don't work out, I can always go back to a place where I can find a job. Because for me, I was in a situation like that myself. I had nothing in my life when I was 17, and everything I have now, that's an extra. I came from nothing. And so if you live by that idea, I started out with nothing and I still have most of it left, I think you get a lot happier, and you you will more easily pursue your own dreams. Yeah.
I see. And I mean, there was one question where we asked you if you have advice for someone that feels stuck in their life, and it really stood out to me, because you said go out and play, and we had someone on that we interviewed like 2 months ago. His name is Eddie, and he travels the world as well on his motorcycle, and he had the exact same wording for
Oh,
his
really?
message. Yeah, he said go and play outside, and his whole like construct around it was that he, like, basically it made him feel like a child again, because he said if you go to different countries, you become like a child again, because you don't know the rules, you don't know the culture, and
Yeah.
you make a lot of mistakes, but it makes you extremely aware of your surroundings,
Mhm.
and you get out of this like sheltered cocoon of the society we live in, where you
Yeah.
just live as you're told. And I don't know, I wanted to tell you about this because I found
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really
That's actually true. I completely agree with that. People sometimes ask me as well, like, what drives you to do that? And I think my main motivation is curiosity. I'm just very curious in a lot of things, and that's something a lot of people they kind of push away, because becoming an adult is something like, yeah, you have to be stable and 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 be in a protected thing. But a child is curious the whole time. It always tries to discover new things, like, is this tasty, or is this warm or cold, or it's always trying to discover. And once we kind of discover all those things and find out, yeah, now we know how to be safe, we stop. But I think being curious is something so important to us. And if we stop doing that, yeah, we lose a lot of ourselves. And that's something, if we get more connected to our inner child, let's say, yeah, I think a whole world goes open again. Yeah.
definitely. But I mean, like, I think it's one thing to, travel around the world on a motorcycle, and definitely challenging as well. But like some of the things that I've read in the written interview that you gave us is like a whole different like category, I want to say. And it also seems like you plan those adventures a lot, because a lot of motorcyclists that I've talked to is like they particularly emphasize the fact that you should have like a North Star,
Yeah.
like your a goal, but then they just go along the way.
Yeah.
But you say as well that, for example, the biggest achievement or proudest moment that you had, one of them was reaching the summit of Denali, and that it took you 3 years of planning. Like, how do you plan for those adventures? Because I mean, obviously, I feel like this is something that you really need to prepare for.
Yeah, yeah. It took a lot of preparation and failure as well, because it took a lot of failure at the same time. It just it didn't take me 3 years of planning. It took me 3 years with planning, preparation, and execution, and like doing it. And the first thing that took a lot of planning, because when I'm cycling, I don't plan a lot. I only know the main goals. I'm going there. I'm gonna cross these countries, so I kind of know what visas I need or what something like that. But I don't know where to sleep. I just go until I'm tired or I'm sick of it for the day, and I just camp somewhere. So that's easy. The thing is, with when I wanted to go to Denali, the first time I wanted to cross the ocean, I wanted to row from Portugal to Miami. That's 3 months of rowing. And so it's with a friend of mine, Koen de Gezelle. He makes rowboats for the ocean. And so he made them in Belgium. I helped a bit with that. And then Gijs, it's another friend, he was helping there as well, making the rowboat. It's a 9-meter rowboat. And that took a year to make it, to build a rowboat like that. So it takes a year to build a rowboat, then to find sponsors, to get all the food. So in that whole year, it's a whole year of preparation. In the meanwhile, I was cycling in Africa, but I was already like planning all that stuff, doing emails for sponsorships, making tables for how much food we need a day and all that stuff. So that there's a lot of planning involved. What's the right season? What equipment do we need? And so in that, especially for something like that, that creates a lot of planning. And then you just have to go, because not everything is planned, but what is planned is you're making sure you survive. That's what you plan. And then the other thing is trying to make sure, but that's more complicated. You make it. You make your goal. But that's the first thing you do, is making sure you survive. So you have to get the right food, you have to get the right equipment, you have to get the right safety measures from other places. And being on an ocean on a rowboat is dangerous. And so there's no help for days sometimes. So you just need to be sure that you can survive for days on a rowboat like that if something goes wrong. And that's the thing that needs a lot of planning. I think that took the most planning of all. Just the rowing. I failed because I got seasick for 16 days. We rowed to Tenerife, the Canary Islands. There we stopped. Then I cycled back to Belgium. So I took a ferry and then cycled back to Belgium. And I think a year later, because I wanted to cross Siberia in winter to Alaska, which could be possible as well, then there's no rowing involved there. But then Putin invades Ukraine, so I had to skip that plan. That was 6 months of preparation. I had to throw it in the garbage, and then I decided to sail across the ocean. There was some planning involved, but that's a little bit more straightforward because more people do it. It's a bigger boat, and that was with a team, like with the French sailing school, and then another sailboat. I sailed to Panama. So that was the planning was already done for me, so I didn't have to. I just could more hop on and be crew on a boat, which made it easier. But you can plan a lot. A lot of things don't go to plan, and you have to adapt very fast. If you can't, I don't think you're built for adventure. You have to do it.
I see. But you wrote about that as well. That it's your next expedition. But like, sorry, it was just difficult to have because you have so much different stories to have a complete overview of it. But it's interesting. Then sometimes you do like expeditions that only last 2 weeks, such as the kayaking from Panama to Colombia. But then you have like those huge blocks where you will bike from Belgium to Mount Everest or something.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you pick your next adventures? Because it's like super different types of adventures, right?
Oh yeah. I actually just pick it on because for example, when I kayaked for 2 weeks, after that I continued cycling to Peru. So it's not that it just stopped there, like it began and stopped there. I just try to stretch it for a couple of months always. But I pick my adventure based on where the next mountain is. And if the next mountain needs crossing, because in between Panama and Colombia there's no roads, so I had to go to the highest mountain of South America from Panama, but from Panama to Colombia there's no road, so there was just the option, okay, I'm gonna kayak it because there's water. And then I cycled. And so that's all. So I actually picked the adventure based on the things that are when I see when there's water, I'll kayak or sail or row, and when there's land, I'll try to cycle because it's a bit more efficient. When there's snow and glaciers, I'll ski with a sled, stuff like that.
But you don't hike sometimes, because between Panama and Colombia there is the Darien Gap, right?
Yeah.
Like that would be also something that I would imagine you in. So
yes, Well, I actually kayaked the Darien Gap
Okay.
along the shores of the Darien Gap. So that's what I did, because I've been talking to a lot of people who know the region, the area pretty well, and a lot of people told me like it's a very dangerous area. There's a lot of trafficking with drugs and people, and there's a lot of armed groups active there. So they told me like, don't go by foot through that jungle. It can be pretty sketchy. But if you kayak, you might be able to do that safely, which wasn't always the case. But in the end, I'm here, you know. So
Yeah. Okay, I see. No, because just like the Darien Gap is something that I don't know why, but it always comes back during the interviews. Like it's always this part that people like either cross or not, and
yeah,
an interesting.
I don't think there's a lot of people who really crossed it by foot. There's in my research when I was doing it, I mean immigrants, yes, but I mean like people who go from North to South America. I think somebody did it by foot, but it's been a long time ago. I don't think recently people have done that. Most people or fly over, take a ferry over, and
Right.
few of them have kayaked it, like me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then you're the third person that I have heard about who has done it. I mean, there's one Helge Pedersen from Norway. He went through it with his motorcycle, like carrying it more than riding it. But that was like in the 90s.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
I heard about that.
there's someone that I talked to last week. Maybe you should connect. He's currently also around the world, and he wants to cross it. Like his adventure is he goes from South Africa to South America, all without an engine as well. And he's currently in like the Middle East. He was in Sur like a week ago, I think, or something.
Okay.
And he wants to cross the Darien Gap as well by foot.
Okay,
So
nice.
yeah.
And how does he want to go from South Africa to South America then? What is
He goes like he basically his adventure is he doesn't want to cross any ocean. Like he wants to go through the Diomed Islands. So
Yes, that
yeah.
was my plan as well. When everything got cancelled because of the war.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know does he know how complicated the area is? Because it's
I mean,
a complicated area. I've done a lot of research, and I was already. You need a special permit to get to that area. It takes about a year to get the permit. I was on it, and then with the war going on, people told me like the company, it's a Russian company that I know, they told me like, yeah, now it's impossible to go.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I don't know how he will do it, but he was in the military for 12 years, and while he was there, he was preparing for this trip, and now he left like in I think 2022.
Yeah.
He embarked, and he broke his back, so he had to go back to France to get surgery, and now he's back and he's finishing the journey. But he says that he is prepared. I don't know. We'll see. I'm very excited about.
I'm not concerned about his skills. I'm more concerned about his permits, because the thing, especially if he was in the military, I think chances are low that he will be able to go there, because the thing is, the Chukotka region there, they will do a background check of you. The secret services from Russia, they will know everything about you when you go there. Sure. Do you know about Carl Bushby? And what's the other name? Carl Bushby and no, I know the other guy. I've been in contact with him, but they crossed from Alaska to Russia once by foot in 2006. Carl Bushby is a guy walking from South America all the way back to England.
Carl Bushby.
Carl Bushby. Carl. Karl is doing this 2006 or even longer, and he's walking back home in stages, of course. He recently crossed the Caspian Sea by swimming, so he's almost at the end stage. But they cross it by foot from Alaska to Russia, and they got arrested the moment they touched land in Russia. 52 days they got arrested, and they were in jail.
Okay.
The crazy story about those two guys. Yeah, it's crazy. So I've been in
Okay.
contact with them because I know the crossing is pretty complicated. Yeah.
Anyways, back to you.
Yeah.
What's like what I was wondering is like you have for me how it sounded like your North Star is the like 7 summits. Is
Mhm.
there anything planned for after this? Do you think about it or?
There's still a lot of things I want to do, but I don't think it's very. I already know exactly what I know. I'm gonna do adventurous things for the rest of my life. I kind of need challenges, and I just love it, you know. But that will not always include being on a bicycle, especially not a rowboat or a sailboat. That not at all. But more, there's certain places that I still wanna see, places that I've been to, but that I want to discover more. Like Kyrgyzstan is one of my favorite countries I've passed through. I want to spend some more time there, exploring around, maybe do some climbing, some other stuff. But that could be with other transportation, you know. But then one of the things that I want to do, because people ask me a lot, like, what's next after this? There's one thing that I want to do, and that's take like youth, like young people with a difficult home situation, taking them on adventures. So that I want to get involved in a project or start a project myself where I can do something with kids in Belgium and then take them on mini expeditions. Could be in Belgium even, or in the Alps, or somewhere else in Europe. But trying to take them outside and trying to motivate them and hope to show them there's other things in life, just the misery you have at home. Because just trying to be some kind of motivational person for people in that situation, because I've been there and I know what it is, and hopefully I could help them find something, you know, like it doesn't matter what, but just trying to get them somewhere out and show them there's different things in life than just giving them hope in life or something like that. Yeah, that's something that I want to do as well. So it's not just about what I want to do, but just want to pass on my experience as well. Something that naturally grows when you get older, I think. That's
Thank you for watching the video. I hope you have enjoyed it and that you have learned about new perspectives. Maybe you even got inspired to start your own adventure. Please feel free to share this channel with friends, family or colleagues and to leave a like on the video. Thank you again and see you in the next one.